as rate of change of momentum increases, force also increases. As it decreases, force also decreases, right? That can be written as F is directly proportional to, it is mv minus mu by t. If the time increases, what happens? Force exerted decreases. If the time decreases, force exerted increases. Based on that concept only, we can go for answering these questions. The first one, which is very familiar to us. A cricket player lowers his hand while catching the ball. No doubt. Very simple one. See that when he is catching the ball, he will lower his hand. His hands. By lowering his hand, he can increase the time of catching. Right? When you hold here only and by lowering here, there will be difference in the time. By increasing the time, the rate of change of momentum decreases. As the rate of change of momentum decreases, so there will be less force exerted on us. Hence we get very less hurt. See that? The statement is like this. Answer. By lowering his hands, he increases the time of catching the ball. As a result, the rate of change of momentum decreases. And the force exerted on his hand is less. So, he is likely to less hurt. Clear? Very simple. By lowering his hand, he increases the time of catching. By increasing the time of catching, then there is decrease in the rate of change of momentum. When the rate of change of momentum decreases, then force exerted will also be less. Hence, we get less hurt. Another one. See, we are hurt less when we jump on muddy floor than a hard floor. See that? Assume that this is the muddy floor and this is hard floor. When you jump on the muddy floor, what happens? You can just move little bit inside the sand, right? There, time increases. When time increases, what will be the rate of change of momentum? That also decreases. When time is increased, rate of change of momentum decreased. Rate of change of momentum, it is decreased. Due to this, force also decreases. We get less hurt. Just compare that on the hard floor. On the hard floor, we won't sink. Instead, there will be more force exerted by the floor on us. Got it? So that is why we get more hurt in case of hard floor. Clear? Here we have written. When we jump on a muddy floor, the floor is carried in the direction of jump. Of course, the floor is here. When you jump, you can carry that floor bit down. Due to this, time increases. Then force decreases. Is carried in the direction of jump, and the time interval for which force acts is increased. The decrease in the rate of change of momentum, we hurt less. Whereas the rate of change of momentum is more in case of hard floor. Therefore we hurt less on a muddy floor. Clear? Yes. Please go for copying from there to here. Dear students, another important statement is there. We know that there is a lot of difference between the force exerted by the karate player and an ordinary person, right? Imagine that there is a pile of tiles. The tiles, nearly 5 to 6 tiles are arranged one on the other. And the way we hit them to break them, is different from the way the karate player will hit the tiles to break them. Is it not? We know that when the karate player is hitting, he will tighten his hand, and with one blow he will go for hitting that with by moving his hand as fast as possible. When he moves his hand as fast as possible, then what will be the time to reach the tiles, pile of tiles? It decreases. As the time decreases, what will be the rate of change of momentum of his hand? It increases. That means force is increased. A very large amount of force is exerted on that pile of tiles. Therefore, they will be broken easily. Clear? The same question is here. See that. A karate player breaks the pile of tiles or bricks with a single blow. Reason: karate player uses his hand as fast as possible. Means the time taken to strike the pile decreases. Therefore, the rate of change of momentum of his hand increases. When the rate of change of momentum increases, force exerted will also be increased. See that. A very large force is exerted on a pile of tiles. So this force is enough to break the pile of tiles easily. Clear? Okay, this is about Newton's second law of motion. So the first two laws are studied in detail with some of the numerical problems as well. Now, dear students, we are moving to another law of Newton's law of motion, that is called action reaction. Newton's third law is also called law of action reaction. Then what is the statement of this law? Before that, I'll just go for explaining. Look here is a straight path. There are two objects and both are moving with some speed. Call it as this is u and this is v. Assume that u is greater than v. Both are moving in the same path in the same direction. If u moves faster than v, what happens? After some time, this, you may call it as A and B, A will strike or will collide with B, right? That means A will exert the force on B. You may call it as FAB. The force exerted by A on B. Whether B exerts force on A or not, this will also exert. If it does not exert, simply it will keep moving continuously, but it does not happen. So the reason is B will also exert force on A. That can be written as FBA. Then when you calculate the force exerted by A on B and B on A, both will be equal but opposite in sign. That can be written like this. FAB is equal to minus FBA. So here, the force exerted by the object A on B, you may call it as, it is action force. Then there is a reaction from B also. Otherwise, it would have been moved continuously. Here, the force exerted by B on A, that is a reaction force. So, for every action, there will be equal and opposite reaction. You may go for taking so many examples for this. I'll go for explaining one by one. You just go for copying third one. By rubbing there, I'll start explaining. Yes, observe. Newton's third law of motion. So, statement of this third law can be written like this. It states that to every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. This is the statement. Then if you want to explain that, I told you, imagine or consider the two bodies A and B are moving on the same path in the same straight line with the velocities u and v. If u is greater than v, then both will collide. Then A exerts force on B, can be written as FAB, This is force exerted by A on B. Then this is FAB. Similarly, B will also exert force on A. Force exerted by B on A can be written as FBA. And both will be equal. Both forces are equal but opposite in direction. Therefore, this can be written as FAB is equal to minus FBA. Follow, this is the explanation. And let us go for taking some of the example. You just imagine that a man walking on the floor or ground. A man walking on the ground. Observe here. When he is walking on the ground, just keep observing this one. I'm going to draw a figure. See that. This is the ground. See that he is exerting the force on the ground. Followed. When he apply the force on the ground, then only he is able to move. But whether he is pushing the ground or pulling the ground, he is pushing the ground. He is exerting the force in this direction. Clear? With the same amount of force, he starts moving forward. So, whether he is here, you can identify the action force as well as reaction force. We can write the action as force exerted on the ground, right? With the same amount of force, when you push the ground with some force, with the same force, you start moving forward. It is reaction force is movement of a man. This is one example. I'll go for taking second example. Launching of rocket. Launching of rocket. Here also you can observe how the Newton's third law of motion is obeyed. Look at it. This is a rocket. This is the place where the payload is to be placed. And these are the boosters. And this is the place where the gases will burn and the gases will come out. Observe it. When the gases in this get burnt, and this exhaust gas will come downwards and it will be towards the ground with some force. It will be greater force. This, and with the same amount of force, a rocket will ascend. You might have noticed that even in the Diwali festival also, whatever the rocket we are going to burn, you can notice that first the burnt gases will be, or the fire can be observed which is moving towards the ground, but the rocket will go up. So here also we can identify action as well as reaction. The action is the direction of the exhaust gas, or the movement of the force with which the exhaust gas will come out. The movement of exhaust gas, nothing but burnt gas. Reaction is ascending of rocket. Ascending of rocket. I'll take one more example. When a bullet is fired from the gun, imagine that a bullet is fired from the gun. Here I will draw that. Just keep observing. Or bullet is fired from the pistol. See that this is the bullet, here is the trigger. When you press that, then the bullet will come out from the muzzle of the pistol, and it moves with a greater force. At the same time, will there be any movement in the pistol? Certainly. When you fire the bullet from the gun or pistol, then the gun or pistol recoils and bullet move forward. So the forward movement of the bullet, that is action, and recoiling of the pistol or gun, that is reaction. Clear? So here I write action. Action is forward movement of bullet. Then reaction is recoiling of pistol or gun. Similarly, you can observe that a boat sailor, when it is near the bank of the river or pond, then where he will go for jumping. When he is jumping, what happens? He will he will exert the force on the boat, and with the same amount of force he will jump forward. So the force exerted on the boat is action, and the forward movement of the sailor is reaction. So I write that example is a man jumps from the boat near the bank, that is near the bank of the river. Here action is force exerted on the boat, and reaction is here forward movement jumping, forward movement or forward jump of the person. Clear? Yes. Now you are going to copy from here to there. After that, we have two important activities. First, in today's class, I am going to explain that. After explaining, you can conduct that in home also. And in tomorrow's class, we will go for conducting the same activities in the classroom. Dear students, we have two important activities to show Newton's third law of motion. Both are given in the textbook only. So one is balloon experiment and another one is test tube experiment. Just we have given the name. One is balloon. In that activity we are going to use the balloon, and in second activity we are going to use test tube. Very simple activity. Just please observe. In the first activity, we are going to use some of the materials. The materials are, obviously, as I said, a balloon. We need a cello tape, then a thread or long thread, a short thread, then two supports. So these are the materials required. Then let us come to know how to arrange these. It's very simple. First you go for taking a balloon, and then go for blowing the balloon. Then after that you tie its mouth with a thread with single knot, which can be opened easily. And one more important item is, it is a plastic straw. See, first you go for taking a balloon, as I said, then and tie its mouth with a single knot. Then take a straw and pierce the thread in that. See, this is the straw. In this, you will go for inserting the thread and tie one end of it to the rigid support. Even you may tie this to the grill of a window. Then another end, that end should be tied to another support, rigid support. See that? Here I am drawing. Then observe. Take a cello tape and fix this straw or balloon to the straw using the cello tape like this. Just put one side, or even you can put two sides. And you may call this support as A and this second support as B. The part of the balloon where you have tied with a single knot, that should be towards A. Remember that. Then after that, you just go for opening this, remove this knot. What happens? Immediately the balloon starts moving and towards that end. Then how can we come to know? How can we study Newton's third law of motion in this? Here, dear students, the balloon moves forward. The reason is, look here, whatever the air is inside it, on opening it will come out with some amount of force. The air coming out from the balloon, it is action, and with the same amount of force the balloon moves in the opposite direction. So movement of balloon in the direction opposite to the air, that is called a reaction. Clear? If you want to see the movement of the air, is it possible? One thing you can do, put a small pieces of paper or else glitters in the balloon. Then when the balloon is moving, the glitters will come out because of the force exerted by the air. You can observe the direction in which the glitters or small pieces of paper will move. That is action, and the movement of the balloon is reaction. Clear? Hope that you have understood. Yes. Now we are moving to another activity. In this activity also we are going to show Newton's third law of motion, but here we will use test tube. Along with that, we need some more materials. Here are write the materials required. One is obviously test tube, and another one is the rubber cork having no hole. Rubber cork to close the mouth of the test tube. Small amount of water. Then we need candle, lighted candle. Then if only candle is used, then matchbox. Then thread. Then after that, iron stand. Or else you can go for using again two rigid supports. Yes. Now let us go for arranging these items. Observe this carefully. Here we will go for taking a test tube, and in that take very small amount of water. Close the mouth of the test tube with the rubber cork having no holes. Take a thread, tie one end of the thread to near the mouth of the test tube, and another one near the end of the test tube, and it should be suspended freely with the help of iron stand like this. Observe it. This is an iron stand. Look here, this arrangement is suspended using iron stand. Clear? Now go for taking the lighted candle, then go for heating the water present in the test tube. As we have taken very less amount of water in the test tube, it get converted into steam easily. When the steam will be coming out, then it will exert the force on the rubber cork, and after, when the very good amount of pressure is exerted on it, then the rubber cork will come out from the test tube, mouth of the test tube. It is removed from the test tube, and with the same amount of force, then the test tube recoils, it goes backward. See that this forward movement of the rubber cork, it is action, and the recoiling of the test tube, it is called a reaction. Got it? In the examination, there is they can ask the question based on this. Explain the experiment. Explain with a neat level diagram to show Newton's third law of motion. You can go for taking these two. With the diagram means you go for taking these two only. Clear? Yes. Newton's third law is over. So bit information is there. We shall go for studying that in the next class. Okay, dear students, let's go for concluding the class. Before that, again I am reminding you, please work out and learn the concepts what we have taught today. Numerical problems with respect to Newton's second law of motion and statement of Newton's third law of motion, and also some of the simple examples along with two important activities. And these activities will also be conducted in the classroom in tomorrow's class only. Okay. So with this, let us stop the class. Thank you very much.